Hello and welcome to the LRC podcast. That is left, right, and center. Today I'm joined by my buddies Donovan
Hello.
and my good boy William.
Hey.
I guess that makes you the bad boy, Donovan.
Yeah.
Right.
The only time in his life he's been the bad boy, so
Yeah.
he's fucking ecstatic. Well, welcome everybody, because today we got a death match. This ain't just your normal boxing match, just your normal rumble tumble. This is Blue Beetle versus Booster Gold. Now, if you joined us last week, I believe you will have seen that we actually picked some of our own heroes to fight each other. Is that? There we go. Bam, there you go. You see that? And as you see over here on the left, we are doing Blue Beetle versus Booster Gold, not Buster Gold.
Booster Jesus.
Booger Gold.
Yeah, you were Blue Beetle versus Booster Jesus.
Well, that changes the calculation somewhat for me.
It's just Jesus with a jetpack.
Anyway.
Wait,
So
Jesus didn't already have a jetpack?
I mean, I assumed that's how he walked on water.
Hey.
So today we've got one of our preliminary fights, and then each week we'll just continue going down the line. Next week will be Wolverine versus Colossus. So we can get the other preliminary out, and then we'll go from there. We're gonna just jump right into it and get going and into the nitty-gritty of these guys. So first things first, we decided that we were going to come up with their grading system first. So that means we got to rate these people their ratings. Feel me?
You had sent something in the drive. You sent a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah. So first up, Blue Beetle. I think we could start with him. Get his grading out of the way. Kind of like we discussed before, it's not going to be like, just because you are an S tier character doesn't mean that you're stronger than necessarily other S tier characters. There's probably, there's going to be huge varying degrees. It just means that you've met a certain threshold to be within this grade. So I guess first things first then is kind of, we had talked about this, was we need to establish what like an S tier hero, like what is the threshold that they got to meet to be a S tier hero.
Let's just go stat by stat.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest.
Yeah. So for strength, I think an S tier hero would be like can easily lift heavy objects and throw them around like it's nothing. Like it's not a strain for them to lift heavy objects.
Right.
I mean, why not?
Right.
We could put even like an actual, because it's one thing to say a heavy object.
Well, I mean, we're gonna put an actual character as like a base for it.
But I'm thinking like easily over a ton that they can like lift and chuck around kind of shit. Because
I mean, that's way more than that. It's got to be way more than that to be an S tier. Because there are easily characters that are thrown, like, for example, if you look at like Blue Beetle, his strength carry is like probably like 70 tons or something.
With the assist of the Scarab, yeah.
Blue Beetle, I would consider could be an S tier strength character.
Right.
I mean, that's part of the reason he was put in one of these preliminary fights, is because I knew he was very strong from the suit.
So take for instance, if we're talking like god tier characters, obviously Superman jumps to mind, but he would be like the god tier of the god tier when it comes to strength, right? But there have been times in the comics where others have helped him with feats of strength, like Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter. So like I feel like that level of strength is what we're going for like S rank, is like maybe not at Superman's level, but at least in the same league as him.
Right. Like I would consider probably Wonder Woman's probably S tier because
Yeah, strength wise.
she can hurt Superman by if she hits him hard enough. So
Right.
I would say that
So
she's up there.
so
She's probably a good
we could
minimum for like S tier, really, because like that's probably about as weak as I'd want to go to consider an S tier. Like, not saying she's weak,
yeah,
but
I
you know what I
don't
mean.
know
Like,
enough
I don't
about
really
yeah.
want any. There's not too much weaker than that I would go. She can lift 100,000 tons, so she's
Okay,
strong as
all
shit.
right. So
Okay.
maybe
So she's damn strong. So maybe a little less strong.
Aquaman has super strength too. So he can do 80 tons.
80,000 or just 80 tons.
80 tons.
Okay,
So
so
that's
Wonder Woman's like Superman level. She's done some
Yeah.
nutty shit.
yeah.
Okay, so but uh
So
I would
Aquaman would be like
consider
under what I'm
Aquaman.
thinking like an A.
Yeah. A? You think he's an
Yeah.
A?
Eh,
Because he's strong
80
enough to
tons
hurt
is a lot.
Superman.
I think once you hit 100 tons, that's 200,000 pounds. That's
I mean, that's
like
strong
a
as fuck.
lot, and I think that should be like,
Yeah.
because looking like even Blue Beetle can only lift 20 tons. I mean, we obviously said, Wonder Woman, Superman are like god tier strength, so they're probably not even S rank, they're star rank, Like they don't even get a letter, they just get a shape. They're so strong.
So
I
about
think
100 tons is our S rank.
100 tons and up. If you break that 100, you're an S. Anything below that, I mean, the closer you get to that, obviously, you're like upper A's, right? Blue Beetle, 20 tons. He's not strong enough to be considered an S tier.
No, but I definitely
Definitely.
put him in like the C to B range. Like
Yeah, yeah. C to
he's
B range is what I was
definitely
thinking too.
got the enhanced strength and can lift. 20 tons is
That's a lot.
still 40,000 pounds. That's
Still a lot, yeah.
like a semi kind of stuff, even bigger. So
I say that's fair. C, B. What are we
I
feeling?
think it's an A, to be honest with you. Maybe you would consider lower A, but like I think once you're into double digit tons, you're an A. Like
Okay.
truly. Because like I think that's kind of the like double digit tons is A, triple digit tons is S.
And I can see your argument there, because just because they can just because say I'm pretty sure that Blue Beetle with a 20-ton hit could still hurt somebody pretty well, like Aquaman in a durability sense, right? Like it
I mean, I
isn't
would even
just
argue under certain circumstances he could still hurt a Superman like character
yeah.
if he
right. So it's not just like their ability to hurt them. So yeah, I could buy that. Once you're in double digits, it's A.
B would be 5 above 5, below 10. C would be
Yeah.
like below 5, and D is sub 1.
Maybe just C would be like just above what a human can actually accomplish. Because humans, what the max is like 800 pounds or something like that. There's genetic factors and stuff like that involved as well. So
yeah, I mean I would say because that's what we're gonna consider D is like normal human strength. I mean, because you're not gonna you might be a little bit stronger than average, but that's still gonna be the D.
You're very physically fit. Yeah.
So yeah, I would consider him an A. I don't know about you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good for me.
Well, then let's just do booster gold strength as well.
Yep. Sounds good.
From what I could tell, Booster's just slightly above average for a human.
Yeah, but
I don't think
he has fucking suit as well,
he does.
and his suit is able to lift 200 tons without exertion, and he's been shown to be able to lift over 700 tons in specific situations.
Enough to easily superhuman strength. Enough to he can easily shift 20 tons. And a great deal more if he exerts himself. So he can do 20 tons without exertion.
This says 200 even without exertion.
Then I guess we're putting him in S class for strength.
I mean,
assuming that information.
So that's saying that, and then you're saying what is the other thing?
Well,
The Michael Carter one?
so the yes,
one?
the Michael Carter one. I mean, it just says affords a high measure of super strength enough to easily shift 20 tons, and a great deal more if he exerts himself. It's pretty vague. Yours is more specific.
It does say a great deal more. So we're going to assume he can, at the very least, if he's really trying, meet that over the 100 threshold.
Yeah.
If he can do 20 tons without exerting himself. So yeah, we're gonna put him in the S. All right, but Wolverine can't get an S in strength.
How are we gonna grade agility?
So
Jump height.
I would say that somebody who is an S tier agility, to me, means that they have something beyond just reaction time. Somebody like a Spider-Man. Like,
yeah,
they have supernatural ability to dodge things, you know what I mean? Or to acrobatically, move through things.
dodge.
Yeah.
I would say I would divide agility sort of into sort of quickness and speed.
Yeah, because you also
combined
want
with
to
reaction, right?
right. Yeah, so it can't be just one. So it's got to be like a combo. So I
Right,
guess
it's got to be
maybe
sort of a
Spider-Man wouldn't
combination of all of
even
those things together.
Spider-Man wouldn't even necessarily reach an S agility because while he's he can fucking dodge a bullet. I would argue he probably can't dodge the Flash trying to punch him.
Right, that's what I was about to say. I would say that, setting aside the other ability that speed gives him, like actual time, dimensional stuff like that. Like if you're looking at actual just speed, right? Like I think the Flash is a pretty good standard, or at least super speedsters are a pretty good standard of S, just because the Flash is so quick he can run on water or can run up buildings or can
or run backwards through time.
Right. Flash is definitely S ranked. I think a lower ranked speedster might be a
like
better
a
standard for S rank of
somebody.
Yeah, like a Quicksilver or I don't know what other speedsters
the
they would be,
other
but somebody
immediate speedster. I mean, besides like villains of the Flash or like other Flash, like Kid Flash and shit.
I would say an S rank. Yeah, I would say an S rank is somebody who can move so fast, because this requires fast reaction speed too, that it actually slows down their perception of time.
I kind of like Will's thing of they move fast enough that they can not necessarily perceive time differently, but they can react supernaturally. Or like I had said, they have some means. They can also move. Not only can they react, but they can actually get out of the way. I guess my thing is I would consider, at the very least, I would consider, like, in the same way like we did with strength, how Superman is definitely an S. I'd say the same is true for like a Flash character, right? He's definitely an S. He has to be. I guess since we're doing Blue Beetle, I guess have you seen something that gauges speed by?
Not his speed, though he does have flight. He's been to space, and the suit has the ability to, I believe, break the atmosphere. So he can move
Yeah,
about
so
as
what I'm
fast
saying,
as
he can move fast, but when he moves fast, it's at the expense of close maneuverability. So he can move like from point A to point B in a straight line, like, super fast, but he can't maneuver very well when he's doing that, which I think would, if we're talking just general agility, would reduce the score slightly. Right?
So here on the fandom wiki for him, it says that it's also confirming the lifting 20 tons, all that stuff as well, so that confirms further, other stuff we had said. It says that he can travel faster than light speeds. There's been several times where he's evaded tachyons, which move faster than the speed of light, and he's appeared in several places at the same time by doing this maneuver.
it's an emergency maneuver, but
Yeah. I mean, this is like
it's like Will says,
top
he's
top
still
he's going Super Saiyan. I mean, this is a death match. You know what I mean? He's being potentially pushed to the limit and killed. So we're pulling out
Right.
all the stops.
And on that note, this is something we've got to ask with the Blue Beetle: is the Scarab itself and Jaime Reyes are two separate beings, and the Scarab itself has the reaction speed of a supercomputer.
and
That doesn't
can
necessarily mean
technically
Jaime
go
does.
into a form where it can act
Right, but
without
like we
Jaime's
said,
conscience.
he doesn't necessarily need to if the suit can react
Right.
for
Yeah.
him. So sort of,
Okay, so
I
I
would
was just
argue
that's a
in the
question I
same way I
wanted
would
to.
argue Spider Sense for Spider-Man, I would argue Jaime's suit for him,
So, do you
It's
think that entitles him to an S rank in agility
I think it
or an A
does.
rank?
I mean, he can move the
Yeah.
speed of light.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
can move
yeah.
so
Okay.
fast you
I
see
was just,
multiples of him. That's pretty
yeah,
fucking fast.
When
it
beyond
is.
that,
Okay.
like you said, between that and when he's not moving that, he actually has some decent, like, close combat maneuverability. So it balances out. I'd put him in S rank, yeah.
Booster Gold.
Well,
I
he can
I
fly.
know he can fly. I don't know that he moves as fast as Beetle, though. I know he can time travel, but I think that's its own separate device.
Yeah, and I don't know if that counts as agility. It's not actually slowing down time, it's just traveling through it.
Um, there are instances of him keeping up with the Reverse Flash. He's flown on par with Flash fast enough to tap into the Speed Force before. He's managed to tag Barry Allen. He's stolen the Martian Manhunter's cookies and managed to outspeed him in flight. Dodged multiple blasts from Sinestro's lantern ring. I think we might be looking at a S again. I d-
I
I
guess
did
my one
not know that
question would
Booster
be,
was this strong.
yeah, I was not expecting that.
I mean, it makes sense. He's
Huh.
been the leader of the Justice League before. I mean, granted, they fell apart while he was the leader, but he was technically the leader. So
I wasn't
stamina,
expecting that.
we're considering like obviously we're also considering like their like endurance or their durability, right? Or is that was going into powers? I thought, or powers
That's
or
going into
equipment,
powers.
whichever.
Stamina is
So
like
stamina is just gonna
ability
Yeah.
be
to
straight up.
last in a long
Yeah.
fight.
So stamina is just gonna be
Yeah.
straight up
Yeah.
endurance.
I mean, so what's our standard for stamina? I think an S rank might be something like, again, something like a Superman, something that just doesn't stop, but I'm trying to think of something like another example you might use.
So I think we also have to take into account like healing factors and stuff, right? So like I don't know about either of what their suits can do, but if either of them have some sort of like self-healing thing within their suit, I would argue they could probably fight for longer.
Yeah, so Blue Beetle definitely has the self-healing suit thing going.
Okay.
Uh, the Scarab is like predicated on nanotechnology.
And
I
if we're
don't know about Booster Gold's suit.
and if we're considering if we have to come up with like an S standard for that, I would say I mean anybody that if you have the ability to heal from mortal wounds.
Yeah, well, so I read this thing, the the Blue Beetle suit actually like created another heart for Jaime at one point. Right?
Right.
Like it actually like, so I would say S for Blue Beetle then. It's
Yeah.
not particularly healing factor, but the suit can
I mean,
heal
because
him.
it's not
Well,
just
So
healing
that's the
factor, but
thing
I would
too.
consider, yeah, that's
The
the suit.
scarab is actually implanted into Jaime, so it is actually like a part of him,
a
kind
part
of
of him.
thing. So
Yeah, if you remove it, unless it's a very special circumstance, doesn't he die?
mhm.
Yeah. So
All right.
Which is why, because Booster Gold actually hunts down Jaime once he comes back in time. Well, he comes looking for the scarab, but the scarab had already bonded to Jaime, so he couldn't get to the scarab. Because technically, the scarab was, I believe, more advanced than his suit, or it was an anomaly in the time space continuum, and he was hunting it down as a time hunter. Well, he's got such a complicated backstory.
So Booster Gold stamina. I know that he can. I mean, as far as durability goes, he's pretty good, but I don't know about his actual like healing factor.
I don't think it doesn't appear as though, from what I'm seeing, that he has any sort of healing factor or anything like that. Uh, the suit is incredibly durable.
Yeah, that's
It
what
can
it seems
withstand
to be
bullets
his big
without losing
thing.
its integrity.
It seems to be that his big thing
But
is
being
more to
shot
not take damage at
still,
all in the first place, not so much to be
Yeah.
able to heal back from
yeah.
it.
His one big durability thing he has is a force field generator.
Brainiac 5 force field generator.
So,
Yeah, and
um, we know that he's like an ex like football star as his like past. So underneath the suit, we're gonna argue that he's at the very least athletic and capable. So
yeah.
um, then I mean, really, I'm thinking of putting him at like C, maybe even. for stamina because I feel like he doesn't like the only reason I wouldn't put him at a D is because he has the suit.
Yeah.
So because he has the suit, he's not going to tire as quickly because the suit's picking up some of the slack. But
And I would put the force field generator more under power than under
right.
stamina.
Well, it's either it's going to be underneath
or
his
equipment.
yeah, one of the two. It's going to be factored into his durability, not his stamina.
So I think C is pretty fair. The suit does seem pretty durable, but he still gets hurt by like bullets. Like it doesn't go through the suit, it bounces off the suit, but it's like getting shot by a rubber bullet.
So then
So
we would get into adaptability. Blue Beetle. I know that he's got those scanners, right?
yeah.
So
Well,
he's
okay.
got what's known as sight. It's some kind of special sight that the Blue Beetle gives him that allows him to read up on his enemies. It's all this kind of like information, weak points, shit like that. He also has like it's almost like an echolocation, almost a sonar radar type of, but he doesn't have like direct access to those sites. I think it's
Doesn't he have like mechanokinesis shit?
yeah.
He can.
It's not necessarily he can't control machines, but his suit can create a variety of tools.
Yeah, but he can like
That
communicate with like other technology like through his suit.
yeah.
Certain situation.
And I'm seeing here he can even perceive magic and see magical effects. So it's not just science stuff either.
All right, cool.
Also, get rid of kryptonite radiation.
Now, double down on that. He was very heavily trained by Batman after becoming a hero. And I would argue Batman is probably one of the most adaptable fucking superheroes that exists.
Right. I will say though that despite that, he's still just a teen, so he does have some inexperience. I would put him at a solid B in adaptability, truthfully.
I'd put him higher because you also you have to consider not only his own ability to adapt, but the Scarab's ability to adapt.
The Scarabs, yeah, because the Scarab can act autonomously. Yep.
I would give him an A personally in adaptability.
I think that's a good one. I think A is probably good because you're relying more on the Scarab to carry the heavy weight of the adapting, I think, in a lot of situations.
I think to put adaptability the simplest way possible, it's how many situations in theory could he deal with and how quickly. Right? Like, and I think the Blue Beetle, that an A is about right because I think, Jaime can be surprised by things,
I think
but the
most
Beetle might not be surprised by them.
situations, he's going to be able to adapt.
Yeah.
But if it's a situation where he's, like, if somebody's using a power on him that's keeping him submerged underwater or something, you know what I mean? Like, he might not be able to adapt to that. He might just die. Yeah, but
assuming he doesn't have a way to like
breathe water,
break the magic, or well, we can assume the suit is airtight because he can survive in space.
It was just a wasn't a specific example.
I understand
just...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oop! I put that in for booster gold.
Yeah.
Not you, Booster. You didn't deserve an A yet. I actually am gonna put Booster. Well, not right away, but off the bat, I think that he should be lower than Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
There's actually lots of instances of like he's very cocky. He's arrogant in a lot of cases. I mean, he does show signs of heroism and come to the aid and help people, but he's also like it's a very big character flaw for him that um I wouldn't say he's overly prepared hero. You know what I mean? He just shows
Yeah.
up and
We
then
we had even touched on it a little bit with the stamina. It seems his fighting style is fairly straightforward as well. Rather, don't take the damage, block the shots kind of stuff, and get your hits in where you can.
right, and his a main thing of his powers just comes from the fact that he has this really powerful suit.
Yeah.
Now,
And even looking at his equipment, all of his equipment is like the Blue Beetle, his equipment like does a ton of different things. Booster Gold's equipment doesn't, each individual piece of it doesn't do, like, it's how he
now
uses it that would be
I'll
clever, not the thing itself.
I give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt because he does have his robot companion Skeets, um, who I would argue is sort of like a Jarvis type of figure to Booster, where
Mm.
because Skeets actually built the suit that he wears currently, or at
Right.
least in the most like recent version of him, and so um, yeah, I think that you could argue that the AI would at the very least give him some sort of extra sensory warnings, to things like
Yeah.
At the
that. Like,
very least, it's an advice system in his ear that he
right,
can either listen to or not.
stay calm now.
So,
Yeah, stay calm, Booster.
Yeah.
All you need to do is swim up. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like things like that. Like it can. I
right.
think that does
Yeah.
play a factor. Um,
Hmm.
It again, though, goes to his whole, he's cocky, so does he listen to the advice?
well, and I think that's so. I think he's got the information. He's got the ability to figure it out, but I don't think he's an overly prepared hero, and I don't think that he's like ready for that situation. So like, I don't.
I think I
So
would give
it's
him a B
yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. Was he's sitting in
in the
B?
sense that he's not prepared, and I feel like he's the type of hero, I haven't seen a lot of him, but I feel like he's the type of hero that a lot of the times, yes, he's skilled, but a lot of times it's luck that gets him out of a situation he's got himself
Yeah.
into
Right.
rather than like raw skill, right? Or
Or the fact that he has super powered best friends.
Right, right.
um, yeah, I'd agree with that. So powers, um, I think they have to immediately both go D, because neither of them have superpowers.
Yeah.
They are both human. Yeah. Well, human-esque.
Unless you want to make Yeah, unless you want to make the argument that Blue Beetle and the Scarab are one being because it's
They're not
fused to his
though, because
spine, but
well,
they're not.
Well, but that's the thing, right? Like, take away the scarab, or if the scarab decides to leave Jaime in this fight and just like, nope, fight it yourself, you know, it can fuck off and leave him human
yeah.
and find a new host.
Yeah.
And
So it's
we're deriving that none of his abilities come from a superpower.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have a mutation or anything. It's just this suit that's giving him all of this stuff. So
Okay.
that means
Then
all
D.
of the things you would consider to put there go into equipment basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that was part of why we wanted to match these guys up, is because they have similar, they're both in super powered suits and equipment.
And that's definitely, I think, something we even kind of pre-discussed was like these guys don't really have power. Like, Booster Gold gets his light from a Legion ring, and his suit's super advanced. He's got future tech
Yeah.
and all this, but underneath all that, he's still just a human. Humans for the win! High five, humans! No,
With the
no,
win.
no.
No.
No. Okay.
Then we got to get into their equipment, which we discussed a little bit of. Give you a little bit more of a rundown. I mean, like you said, he's got the scarab known as Kajida.
Yes, it's its own sentient being. He's able to actually nano produce weapons and tools and equipment. Again, the scarab can communicate with not just Jaime telepathically, but also other machines.
So
It can also
this
create
equipment,
clothing.
this equipment, or the scarab, it has energy absorption. It can turn him invisible. It can move of its own accord with the pincers that can rip through metal. It can fly of its own power as well. And then the secondary benefits with the armor is obviously he's got the shape shifting where he can get several different weapons that come out. And then he has environmental protection, which allow this, you throw him into a lava pit, for example. He's
Airtight,
fine,
heat resistant, cold resistant.
right? And then he's got energy manipulation. Can even make like 3D holograms with that shit. The armor adapts
I
to
would say
counter
just
enemy strengths and exploit enemy weaknesses. So the suit has created artificial kryptonite before in a mid fight to take on Kryptonian.
yeah, I think I
So
would give an S just
damn,
to
so I would maybe even go back to his adaptability and put it up.
Yeah,
If he can fucking create kryptonite mid fight to fucking fight a god
yeah.
level
I didn't
being,
realize that.
I didn't
Because
either until I
that's
started
something
reading
like
that.
Batman, Lex Luthor, all of them, they have to like plan for, find the kryptonite,
Yeah,
like
well, so
refine it if they need to.
his downside is that he has to fight the thing for long enough and survive
For
that
the
the
suit to
suit to
learn.
adapt to
Yeah.
it. But I would argue that's a god
But he's
tier
got
level
great stamina,
adaptability.
so yeah. Let's go with S
Yeah.
then for that.
Um,
And I would give him an S for equipment just because of the sheer number of things it can do.
yeah, and then not to mention
Yeah.
the fact that it has bleed diving, uh, where he can shift into the bleed, a space that connects various universes, which he can use to teleport. This is what he uses to travel back in time and appear at two places at once a couple times.
Yeah, so he doesn't tap
But he
into
only
the
has enough
speed
energy to
force
do
like
it.
Booster Gold did.
He can only
It's
do it up to 3 times in quick succession.
I believe it actually, if he does, it causes the suit to like shut down even. Because the scarab needs to sleep.
So then for equipment, I mean, I think you have to give him it. If you give anybody an S for equipment, I think it has to be a Blue
Yeah.
Beetle-esque type of
Yeah.
character, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the sheer number of things it can do,
We
I
might
would
have
give it an
accidentally.
S.
These guys both are like real strong.
More god tier than we
Yeah,
say.
more god tier than even I had anticipated. Maybe that same is true for some of these other guys though too. I'm kind of
And
thinking it's
I
not the
think we
case for
should.
some of these guys.
I think a lot of it's
I think
gonna
when we.
come down to like the arena we choose, or once we roll up an arena, like.
I also think that when we're done with this, like the final four should just like automatically be transferred over to the god tier one to see how they do. Even like,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
you know, the final four are bracket in the
Or the final
god tier,
two.
you know,
The final two that
or the final two. Yeah.
go
Yeah.
into it, they get to fight in the god arena.
So booster gold.
So he's got the Legion ring, which allows him to fly. His suit is actually Time Hunter tech. And so Skeets is actually one of the Time Hunter's like AIs that he like put into a robot, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's kind of like a Gideon type, knows pretty much everything there is to know, and not just like sciences and stuff, but just history, both past and present and future.
So if we're talking just the durability level, his suit is probably about as durable as it
Yeah.
can be because he's taken hits from Doomsday, Superman. I mean, do you need to take more than that to? I mean, that's if you can take punches from either of those characters, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's.
So
Uh,
that definitely means
I'm
that at
leaning
the
towards
very least he's
A.
well, at the very least he's extremely fucking durable. But then on top of that, he has other equipment. So he also has his visor, which lets him see thermal, telescopic, and gives him X-ray vision. He has the force field belt, which is part of what makes it so that
Yeah.
he can tank so much attacks.
Yeah.
And
He's
it's
got the
designed by
gauntlets.
Brainiac 5.
That's true.
He can blast ice with his gauntlets. Oh no, he can melt through concrete. Sorry, that
Yeah.
isn't ice.
Blast ice. I was like, he can melt ice. Great.
He can fly.
He can do something.
I honestly, I would be inclined to put him in the S tier as well, but I would distinct and put a side note that Beetle has advantage.
Well, because here's the thing. I would be inclined to put him in the A category just because while the things his suit can do are impressive, there's so much less. I would argue the adaptability of the Blue Beetle's equipment, like the number of things it could deal with, pushes it over into an S. Whereas Booster Gold's is, I have a piece of equipment, it can do, I guess if you're counting his AI robot though.
So the biggest thing I would say about his suit is you have to consider the fact that yeah, he doesn't have a lot of like fancy gadgets and things in the way that Blue Beetle does, but you have to consider the sheer strength and speed, faster and stronger that he is than the Blue Beetle from the suit.
It's the
Because
future tech,
even though they're both in the S rank for the agility, we had like determined that even the I would argue they're both probably right there because I
Yeah.
mean I'd say they're
Eh,
probably pretty even when it comes to that. But with strength for sure, he has a huge fucking lead on Blue Beetle, like almost a 10 times difference. You know what I mean? So like you got to consider that pretty big when it comes to like them trading blows with each other,
yeah.
especially if
Okay,
they're the same speed. Because yeah, the booster gold doesn't have a big crazy cannon laser he can shoot at him, but does he need it? Well, and I
okay.
guess my argument
You
is
made
more
your
that
argument
the
towards S.
yeah, I guess my argument more is that his suit is what makes him Superman strength level, right? And makes him that fast.
Yeah,
So it's pretty fucking powerful.
high up there. Yeah.
It's the only reason he's
Sure.
able to be an S tier in these other S tiers, right?
Yes. So let's go with S
Not to
then.
mention, he can also time travel
Yeah.
due to his equipment. So,
Yeah, I didn't even consider that part.
because his suit is time circuitry, it has the ability to make the jump into the time stream. And the Brainiac 5 belt and his ability of flight allows him to traverse the time stream. So 4.2 would round down to a 4, which would be an A tier.
A tier. Yeah.
A hero it is.
And
Oh.
then boosters is a 3.5, which we would round up because he's a 0.5 to A.
I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Overall,
Yeah.
they're A here. I mean,
They're in the same league.
it makes sense really too, the way that they're portrayed as like characters too within stories, like because you know you have these instances of they can do these insane things, but even the way that they're portrayed, they're really A heroes. They're not S heroes.
Well, no, and I think that's an important. If we did make a mistake and get a god tier hero, it'll result in the like. I feel like a god tier hero, we're looking at a like whole other scale of like, you know, this is what S actually truly is, because you've got your Supermans, your Flashes, and they've all got, you know. But yeah, I'm excited to
Yeah.
see the first true S class hero.
Yeah, S for Superman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think Superman would be a true S class score hero because he's gonna score really poorly on. I mean,
Equipment.
I don't think any hero. I don't know that any hero will ever reach this S score. They might,
Yeah.
but I mean, you gotta because you'd have to have equipment. You also have to have powers. You also have to have adaptability. You also have to have stat. But most heroes, that's kind of the draw to the hero, right? Is that they're good at one of these things, or they're supernaturally good at
Right.
one of these things. It's
Yeah.
not that, yeah. I mean, that's why a lot of people don't like characters like Superman, right? Is because he's
Yeah.
S's in a lot of these
Well, I mean,
categories.
you I mean, if we were to apply this standard to Batman, he'd get a score that isn't in keeping with his accomplishments.
Right, but it would be right in keeping with how he's perceived, even from people look at like from the community, right? The comic community, not just his
yeah.
within the universe, the way he's perceived. I mean, because if we were going by the way that they're perceived within the universe, then Superman's automatically S, Batman's automatically S because they beat the fucking
Yeah.
the hardest
I
villains
think
in their
even
world.
our scale would be a lot different just for this fight, because I feel like a lot more people know who Blue Beetle is than Booster Gold.
Right.
Eh.
I think that's pretty definitive. I don't think a lot of, I mean, Booster Gold's pretty niche. I don't think a lot of people know who he is, even though he's like, yeah, he's like the fourth member of NSYNC, right? Like nobody fucking like
Who?
he was
They
There
had a
were
fourth
four
member?
members of NSYNC.
right. Like he's a main member, but nobody remembers that he was there.
When I was doing research, there's this hilarious meme from the old Justice League Unlimited, and it's this little kid, and he's talking to Booster Gold. He says, "Thanks, Green Lantern," and he just walks away, and Booster Gold is just like standing there, like, "What just happened?" Like he's like shy. He's like the kid's just like, "Thanks, Green Lantern," and he walks away, and he's like, "I'm not even green."
Well, that determines that for you boys. That means we can roll our random generator. We can, yeah, we can
Arena
generate
must be set.
the arena. We've got Gotham City as one of the potential arenas. We've got Nowhere Space Station. Is that the actual name of it?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got the X-Men Situation Room.
I was down for your proposed change on the jungle waterfall.
Yeah.
Okay. Kunlun.
Yeah.
How's it spelled? Kunlun.
I believe so, yeah.
This is one of the cities of heaven, 7 cities of heaven from Iron Fist. Specifically from Iron Fist, but the Marvel Universe. And Arctic Volcano.
Yeah, Arctic Volcano. Best one.
Fire, ice, fire, ice, fire, ice, fire, ice, bull.
Bryce.
Big money, big money, big money, big money. Kunlun.
Interesting place for these two to be fighting.
All the monks walking around. What the?
I think there's actually certain magical properties about Kunlun too that we could look into. I think this might be a good one to use for our god tier list as well.
So it is there is like a big like ancient city too, like part of it. So
Yeah.
it's not just like forested area and waterfalls and stuff like that. I mean, that is part of it, but there is plenty of city life to be had if somebody wanted to fight within a building type of area. They both appear. Boom. They're in Kunlun. They have to fight to the death. Right off the bat, I think Booster Gold is not making the first move. I think Jaime, at the very least, the Scarab acts first.
Yeah. The Scarab is always its first solution is always violence. So
Well, and it's very aware of the fact that this is a fight to the death, and can probably gauge how dangerous Booster Gold is.
Truthfully, Scarab would control his battlefield first and foremost. He would choose where in Kunlun they're actually going to start the fight. Right? That's basic Batman 101.
Right. So I'm thinking he knows that he has to try to disable his suit in some way or beat him down enough that he can actually hurt him.
Yeah, so given the Blue Beetle's supercomputer sensory abilities, I would say that he would be quicker on the uptake of knowing what Booster Gold could actually do as well. Right? Like he would scan the suit and at least
Well, and
understand
are
the
we
level of
taking
technology he
into
was dealing with.
account that they know each other?
That's the other
Uh,
thing. Like,
I
Booster
mean, I
Gold
mean, we're not taking it
finds.
into account in terms of whether or not they can kill each other, morality-wise. But are we taking it into account of
like, do they
does
have
he know?
foreknowledge of
Yeah,
their
does
other
he know
person's
how
ability?
their abilities work, kind of thing?
Even based on just their background alone. One of the first people that Jaime Reyes meets after getting the scarab, hero-wise, is Booster Gold, who brings him to the Justice League, where he learns from Batman.
Right.
So I would say there's a good chance that I would put
Well,
it
and
that they know each other.
well, they stay in the comics. They stay close and know each other. Like they're like the
Yeah.
closest two friends in the Justice League. Like in a lot of instances, there's like several instances where like they're the two kind of like Merry and Pippin of the group, essentially.
That was I always thought that was more Booster Gold and the second Blue Beetle.
Well, he was friends with him too, but that's why he
Yeah.
became close with Jaime as well, because he ended up
Okay.
being more like a older brother figure to Jaime.
Right.
Um,
So
So if they already have knowledge, then yeah. Beetle has no problem. The Beetle itself has no problem analyzing what the best battleground is going to be.
right.
So what do we think the Beetle determines the best battleground is going to be? Like, what does Blue Beetle do first? He acts first.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think he would lead him to water first and
yeah.
foremost. I think that
Yep.
that would be his instinct would be to fight near the waterfall because that's the best chance that he has at deactivating his suit in some way. Even though Booster Gold's suit is probably immune to water in most cases, it's probably his best chance.
Yeah. Most effective. And does Booster Gold have any like breathing apparatuses in his suit?
Well, he
Or
can breathe in space and stuff,
deprived?
so I would assume he could probably breathe
Okay.
underwater.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. I believe his mask extends to include like a full face covering.
So Blue Beetle tries to lead Booster Gold to a waterfall. Does he succeed?
I would say yes, because Booster Gold is easy to trick. And I don't think Booster Gold would go 100% right away. He would kind of like he would be taking it easy, like because he'd think that he might not necessarily have to go 100%.
Oh yeah, I think Booster Gold. I think it'd be very easy. Like it'd be a sort of situation where,
He would just
Booster
run
Gold's like,
off.
okay, let's play tag. Let's play tag, right? You
Well,
know.
I think Blue Beetle would just run off and Booster Gold would just chase him. I think that's all it would take is
Okay.
he would just literally
Yeah.
run towards the waterfall and Booster Gold wouldn't think twice about the fact that he was being lured towards the waterfall and more just think that where are you running off to, huh? And trying to go after him.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think Booster Gold not giving it the 100% in the long run or right now is going to be his downfall. Because I feel like while Jaime is going to be, yeah, okay, kind of try to pull his punches, I don't think the Scarab's going to let him as much as he wants to. I think the Scarab's
Well,
still
so
going to, like...
then I think right off the bat, I think Jaime succeeds, lures him into a trap, and he gets the first like real devastating blow. Because I'm assuming he's gonna go 100%, like straight out the bat. He's not gonna half-ass it like the way Booster Gold is.
Well, because that's, I mean, we're
So
assuming they both are aware of the situation. You know,
right,
I don't think it's even really much of a choice, even on, like, if we're questioning morality, which we aren't, it's
yeah.
not even
So
much of a choice. Like, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
like,
well, like I said, well, we're not questioning it. So
yeah, straight up 100% in.
yeah, I mean, really,
Wow.
I'm not really questioning morality as to whether he'd go to her 100% so much as his temperament,
Right.
like how aggressive he is as a fighter, right? That's more where I'm going with Booster Gold. Is Booster Gold wouldn't necessarily go 100% in a, even though he knows it's a death match, he would still probably be like, well, I probably don't need to really go 100%.
He's just a kid. I can handle this.
Right.
But it's
Whereas Jaime
cockiness.
would be,
Yeah.
even if Jaime was arrogant in his own mind, the, like you said, the Scarab would just go 100% immediately.
Yeah.
So I think he gets the first real devastating blow because Booster Gold's not ready for it. He blasts him like with probably his energy shit because I think that's the best way he can hurt him. Some sort of energy manipulation blast. And I think from there, Booster Gold realizes that he's going to realize that the fight is pretty serious at that point. He may even have some of his equipment damaged, potentially. But I would argue he has been able to react to Superman level speed people, like going to attack him and being able to defend it before he was ambushed by the attack. So maybe he partially gets off the barrier, his belt barrier, you know?
Yeah. I could see that.
So I would say he probably
I wouldn't say. Yeah, go ahead.
doesn't like deflect the whole thing, but it's like, you know, he probably, you know, doesn't take, but he realizes, you know, oh shit, okay, it's serious now.
Right.
Don, you still there?
So
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I would say that's probably about right, because with he does have a decent reaction speed and he's fast, so I would say it probably just, you know, I would even say it's probably like it exerts the energy of the belt temporarily.
Yeah, I almost like the same way that Jaime could only do his thing 3 times, kind of like where he could
Yeah.
overdrive speed wise. So
well, I want to almost say that if they sort of roughly know each other's abilities, I would say that part of the Scarab's plan at the beginning was the Scarab is
to shoot like a fake blast
expecting him to
first.
block. Well, no, is expecting him to block with the shield, and because it can change the nature of its blasts, it would change the nature of the blast to something that would like destabilize or even temporarily disable the shield.
That or it would do like a copy and like fake attack him with the first attack and then hit him with a real attack kind of thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
Like
I think the
literally
Scarab
he
would be looking
blasts
to.
like whatever it is. Basically, the idea being that the Scarab would have gotten a full hit on him in some way or form because it would have
Right.
adapted.
And it's the Scarab's first. I would say the Scarab's first priority in the death match would be to get rid of the thing that's going to get in the way the most of him actually giving a death blow, which would be that force field. So that's part of the Scarab's initial plan. Lead Booster Gold here, and then get a first blow in that disables that shield.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So maybe he hits him with like one of his sonar blasts or something like that, something that scrambles the tech or so in some way. So basically, the first hit is a devastating blow, not because he really hurts Booster Gold, but because he takes out the belt.
Right.
It's
So
the
immediately
most
he
complicated tech,
he
yeah.
takes out one of Booster's like main ways of being able to defend himself, which will allow Jaime to keep up with him in terms of being able to hit a little bit. Now, I would say
Right.
immediately Booster realizes, okay, I got to take this shit more seriously. He starts stepping up the pace and comes at him full swing attack.
Yeah. I think that would really sober him up, right? Like,
Right.
because he's arrogant, you're right, but from what I've seen of him, he is actually pretty quick on the uptake. Like, oh man, I gotta,
Right. He
you
didn't get
know,
to be in the Justice League for no reason. He's
yeah,
he's still a capable hero. So he that shit happens. He reacts, but again, he's not adapting. He's reacting, right? So
right,
I would almost say his first reaction is almost a Superman response, is to either just blast lasers right back or charge him,
Yeah.
which I think Blue Beetle would have that. He would know that's the immediate go to right
Well,
after his
and
attack.
that's
yeah,
the Scarab gives Jaime a sight that shows like enemies' personalities, their weaknesses, all of this stuff.
Right.
Batman level information on people. And they're both Justice League members, so their information is there. Maybe Jaime's not that brilliant because he's a teen, but yeah, I would say he sees it coming, and depending blast or charge, he's got some kind of setup for it, or the Scarab does to the very least.
So I would say he's probably ready for the charge, at which case he probably expends one of his uses of the speed
Yeah.
force kind of thing that he can do to be able to react to Booster Gold, like just jump into 100% all of a sudden.
yeah,
And so I would say he probably gets another. This is the first real hit on Booster because he's able to react and boom, hit him with the fucking. Now he doesn't have the belt,
shield,
so
Yeah.
so he
yeah,
takes a full hit. Um. Now at this point, I think the Blue Beetle is kind of out of surprise tactics. There's not really much else up his sleeve in terms, like he's not gonna catch him off guard again with another hit. Now it's like they're just gonna have to fucking go toe to toe.
And I think in a
yeah,
battle of attrition, Booster Gold is stronger, so his hits are going to be more devastating.
But
But
Jaime's heal factor is a lot more powerful.
yeah.
So Jaime, so
and
he may be taking bigger chunks out of him, but
Well,
he's healing back from them. And if we're considering the fact that Jaime was able to like take out one of Booster's defense
so
belt, then you'd actually be able to fight him.
there's a fun feature of the Scarab suit that is just, great. It's called Infiltrator mode. Essentially, the suit grows taller, more muscular, and grows spikes, and the scarab is able to operate without Jaime's interference consciously. So yeah, I mean, it can come down to where, in an extreme emergency, it goes, okay, Scarab, let's,
So basically, I'm thinking
'Cause I
now
think
what happens is they kind of go blow for blow. They beat the shit out of each other. But Booster, knowing that it's a fight to the death, his survival instincts are kicking in. He's got the AI that while Blue Beetle is adapting to him, he's also adapting to the Blue Beetle at least a little bit. Um, and so, and because of his foreknowledge of what's going to happen, his knowledge of the Blue Beetle, he knows that the power is derived from the suit, which is attached to his spine. So I would say that he
in suit
knows his
form,
weak spot, which is his spine.
yeah.
So I would say there probably what happens at some point is there comes a point where Booster does manage to do enough damage or hurt him in a way that Jaime does have to come apart from the suit. But I think that the Scarab still helps him, and Booster has several things that are allowing him to do stuff rather than it just being one cohesive suit. And I think over the course of the fight, his goggles have probably gotten broken. His belt's now not is malfunctioning, and I bet the Scarab could probably take one of his fingers off and make him lose that fucking ring that lets him fly.
Probably during a punch or something, just.
Or just knock it off in some way. But
Yeah,
I was
it
thinking
goes to that.
the Scarab has those fucking like pincer things that can cut through shit. I was
Yeah.
just imagining one of those like cutting off fucking Booster Gold's finger like
right.
now he can't fly.
That's the thing about the difference in AIs, though, is while yes, his Booster Gold's AI is learning about the Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle's constantly changing and adapting, whereas Booster Gold's suit is static.
Well, his is more that, and his is relaying information rather than adapting.
Right.
Like, because his suit is basically just saying, hey, you should probably target the spine because it's weak there, whereas fucking Jaime's suit is just dodging Booster's attack, not even thinking about it. So
And so,
Right,
and
and
like
another
you
thing
said,
that I think that
the suit can make kryptonite. So at some point, there's probably Jaime or the Scarab can disable the suit, whether through necromancy or necrokinesis or whatever.
right. Yeah.
well, I think that Booster Gold has the ability to. So I think here's what's pushing me towards like Blue Beetle's going to win in the end is I think Booster Gold has the skills and the ability to take down the suit temporarily, but the Blue Beetle suit repairs itself.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and I don't think Booster Gold's maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think any of his stuff actually can repair
No,
itself
not
like
in
in the middle of
mid-fight.
combat.
Yeah. So I
So I
think
would say
that was
that
kind of what I was saying too, is like they they would beat each other on each other, but it's almost kind of a stalemate because yeah, Booster's hitting him way harder, but Booster can't heal from his attacks the way that Jaime can. So yeah, he's hitting him way fucking harder, but Jaime's just getting right back up and eating it again.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I would say that eventually it would just it would get to the point where I think Booster Gold could get get it to the point where the Scarab has taken full control.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
think
I
that's
think
probably
I
what
think
happens is that the Scarab would have to take full control in order for Jaime to win.
right.
If
But I think that
Jaime is fighting Booster Gold, Jaime dies.
Yeah.
right. And I think that by the point that that mode kicks in, too much of Booster Gold's equipment is not fully functioning or not functioning at all
Or been
for
removed
him
from
to
him, or
pull it out.
right. Like, well, that
Yeah.
was, and that's, or I said, or been removed from him. Like, that's kind of what I mean by like
Yeah.
with bringing up the fact that his stuff is all separate. Like, instead of Jaime's
Yep.
being one cohesive suit that's all connected, like Booster Gold has like 4 or 5 several items that are giving him different things. And so these things could be like picked off of him over time and like or made useless or it's malfunction or broken and stuff.
Right.
And so then now he can't use that shit. And whereas yeah. So I think we're kind of talking in circles at this point. But
Yeah.
I think it was a good fight, man. I think the winner is Blue Beetle, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Blue Beetle,
it's hard to.
Booster Gold. Yeah.
I think it really comes down
It's
to
hard to
that
say, but I think
difference between. I mean, it really comes down to their stats in the middle, right there. Is the adaptability and the stamina. The Blue Beetle's ability to continue fighting, but not only that, but his ability to adapt to the current fight and the fact that I think he's a more prepared fighter. It just gave it to him because he started
yeah.
strong.
Or I think that yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Will.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying
I
to talk.
think that it really was that first moment where I think the thing that would have given the Blue Beetle the most trouble was that force field, which is why I think the Scarab would take it out first. And I think it really was that moment and that moment of weakness that Booster Gold has at the beginning of arrogance.
Right. I think that's what really costs him is that he doesn't have an autonomous fucking sociopathic alien suit driving him to kill, so he wasn't able to like just go instant kill mode. Yeah, I like it. So that means old Booster is out of the race. He gave a good show, good fight. I really enjoyed this fight. Actually, it was even more even match than I had anticipated. Um,
Well, kind of like we were saying, there were some things about Booster Gold where I was even looking at his thing beforehand, I was not anticipating that level of strength from him.
right, he is really
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was his biggest thing was that you know when he was connecting with Jaime, he was beating the fuck out of him, which is why I think it would get to a point that he would beat him out of the suit, and the Scarab would literally have to like pull away from Jaime to prevent being destroyed, and then like and then would still win ultimately. But I think it would come to that level.
Wait, I feel like it's like it pulls away for a second, but just like it's almost a ploy, right? Booster goes over, grabs the Scarab, and as he picks it up, it just, electric shock and like EMPs his suit or something like that, long enough for Jaime to catch his breath, then kind of, reach out, grab the Scarab, rejoin with it, and it's in infiltrator mode at that point, and it just kind of it gives the death blow. His suit's real durable still, but it doesn't have much of the enhanced strength or anything like that working because of the whatever it did to it.
Right, and you could argue that Jaime's suit is fully covered, whereas Booster Gold's suit is not. And so without having that
True.
barrier from the bubble to like appear and defend him in the areas where there's like holes in his armor, I would argue he could go for kill shots in those areas a lot easier.
Yeah.
The Scarab would
He was
definitely go for
probably
kill
aiming
shots in
for
those
the head
areas.
the whole time.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I know we went a lot a bit longer than we usually go, but that's probably going to be the case with these superhero fights, being there's so much information and stuff to go through and sort out. But thanks for everybody who joined us today. If you had your money on Booster Gold, sorry for losing your money.
We don't condone gambling.
If you liked what you saw here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And next week we'll be doing Wolverine vs. Colossus. So if you like either of those guys, be sure to tune in for that.
The bell icon so you get notifications when we do post that.
Hey. Well, with that, we will see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.